You want to hear something fun? I just did about 5 minutes of a really good reading for the collective here. And I was talking about Mercury being retrograde and to be mindful. And that can really do a wonder on technology and communications. And then I noticed that my mic that I have connected here was doing, the receiver was kind of blinking on and off, and it was switching between mics. And I only have one on. So I'm like, I should stop this. And sure enough, cutting out. So we might be feeling the effects of Mercury retrograde. I was actually going to open with some of the songs I had on loop, but this is, of course, wanting to be known, the Mercury retrograde. My name is Hope. I am a tarot reader, intuitive channel, and storyteller, helping you navigate and get the most out of your most divine life. Get the most out of your most. See what I'm saying? Like Mercury retrograde. I don't like to give it too much credence. However, usually more often than not, you might agree with me on this one. When I find things kind of go a little like loopy doo, I look it up, and more often than not, it's usually going through a phase. But anyways, let me continue. So in the beginning, I had in my head, all I have to do is dream, dream, that song. Okay, so that song. And then I heard a song, and I don't remember the titles, forgive me, but Drake's voice was coming out and it was like, give me some respect. So, aspects about what we're trying to achieve, perhaps some career goals, lifestyle goals as well, the things that I'm hearing, the pace that you would like to see for yourself is top of mind. On top of mind, I'm noticing, as well as people in my sphere are noticing, we're not feeling like 100%. The Schumann Resonance has been really spiking like the last 2 weeks quite a bit. So you might also be experiencing this, like fatigue, headaches, not feeling in your body, maybe a little bit dizzy, just not motivated to do certain things. So perhaps it's okay. We're being told to just rest and sit and do that. Totally fine. I think it's important that I say this because I know I struggle when there's things I want to achieve in the course of a day. And if I'm not feeling up to it, that can be really hard for me. Neurospicy. But as I was shuffling before we even recorded, this figure, death figure, came out into the reading. It was actually opposing forces in this deck right now and came up. So change is on the horizon, change is coming. What's really good is I see a bit of a turnaround with maybe that resistance that was perhaps coming up or is coming up. It's changing, where people are stepping into creative avenues, really starting to feel motivated to get more creative, which is wonderful. And it's perfect timing given that we are moving into Leo season. So change is happening here. And this was also my first my first try at the reading. This was also reminding me about the Schumann resonance, just with the arcing crescent moon there. But what also came out was the devil, and being Mercury retrograde, it makes perfect sense because this particular figure is actually, you can see counting on its fingers. And that's also Capricorn energy, so very grounded, very earthy. But with this, there's what the saying I was getting, because it's like he's doing all this, like he's listing, he's going over lists. And I'm hearing the devil is in the details. So you're being reminded that if you are about to sign something or to make an agreement, to go over the aspects of the agreement or a contract before you sign, so that there's not any sudden surprises or anything like that. Any changes, almost like I'm getting a sudden change in a rate, for example. So maybe you're signing up for, I'm hearing like a bonus structure or an agreement with an insurance company or whatever it might be, right? Just to pay attention to that sort of thing. Those are just small examples. Also, with this devil figure, I see here the gemstones here have the same shape as the tree of life in the Kabbalah, as far as the gemstones are concerned. And if you've ever seen what those gemstones look like as the sacred geometry, that's what I'm seeing here as well. So, and I'm getting into my solar plexus and sacral chakra here, which I tend to invert, interestingly enough, but I could feel it sort of getting tight there in my solar plexus. So sacral chakra, solar plexus, talking about that. Last week, I was doing some channeling work and I was hearing that guilt is neighbor of shame. Now, the interesting thing about the solar plexus and the sacral chakra is, in fact, the opposing or counter force of those chakras are, in fact, guilt and shame, and they are right beside each other. Don't you love divine spirit work? I love it. So that might resonate. I don't know why I decided to go into that avenue right now, but that might be something that you're dealing with. Perhaps you're feeling a little bit guilty about not achieving a certain thing, or expecting yourself to be at a certain place at a certain time. Where I also then got cut off in my first try with this was seeing this figure here. Now, in the first reading, I actually said it was the Knight of Cups, but it is the King of Cups. And I think that was just reinforcing the aspects of communication and making sure you're really clear on what you're trying to say and what someone in that you're working with is also saying back to you. So doing really good listening work. But also what I'm hearing and seeing from this is the king outranks the knight. So there is maybe something you are working towards. You have a goal and you expect it to be a certain way or certain amount. The outcome is actually going to be bigger and better, more incredible than you expect, which is really great. So you're being told, because that song is coming back in, all you have to do is dream. This little cup, look at the size of this king, look at his crown, and look at the teeny weeny cup he's working with. He can do bigger, right? He can definitely work with more. So if you're maybe limiting yourself a little bit on some ideas, go back to the drawing board, open up a journal, see what's going on there, do a little bit of a refocus. Bottom of the deck as well is the Fool, who is the start of a new journey. So I think that's a beautiful connection when we have death that kicks things off, right? Change being affirmed, being careful of the details, paying attention to that, working on dreaming bigger, and we're off to the races, basically. To summarize to a degree, I thought I'd do something kind of fun and different. As I may have said before, a bunch of different clippings from magazines, and I start collecting as I go, and I put things into a bag, and then I pick and choose if I want to do something with manifestation work or not. But what came out at first was spring into your morning routine. What jumped out at me immediately with springing into your morning routine, if there is a goal that you are trying to achieve, establishing a really solid routine and schedule for yourself would be a good idea, especially since we have on the back, she doesn't look so happy. So paying attention to those details. So spring into your morning routine. And then I saw this one, which I thought was kind of interesting, how the credit report is like back to healthy. That would be great for most people, right? There is then, for me, what I see is growth in terms of finances and health in that regard. And then look who showed up again, our little friend, positively having a good time, which is a wonderful affirmation, is to continue keeping that focus and that sort of, I'm hearing methods positive, keeping your methods positive. And then popsicles came out, which are beautiful. I just loved it for the color, which is really about having fun. And then beautiful, which I thought was a nice end point there. So, keeping things positive, find a good little routine for yourself, and your finances and opportunities will grow. Let's pull one little charm for you. It's a wing. Beautiful. A wing, like an angel's wing. Maybe speak to your angels. I ended up putting it right on the interesting, the Fool here, who also seems to have feathers right at his feet. So swift movement, swift action, making quick, fast decisions could actually benefit you surprisingly. I love you so much. I'm offering one-to-one readings. So if this resonated, you'd like something more personalized, reach out to me, send me an email. I will never reach out to you. And my friends, I hope you have yourselves a wonderful week. Much love to you.